Hello, everybody. Okay, so I'm trying to get logged in, at least so I can see the comments on Facebook. I am serious. I would really, really like to get everybody weaned off of Facebook. I know. There's a lot of people that are just like, no, don't leave Facebook. But, streaming to Facebook is not easy. So, anyway, I would really, really like to get people weaned off of Facebook and just like move over to YouTube, just saying. We're going to work on that this year because it's not, you don't have to do a lot to have like a Facebook login. I mean, you literally don't have to do anything. And you don't even have to subscribe to the channel to watch. I don't think you have to be a subscriber to comment. You might. You might have to be a subscriber to comment. Can't remember. Anyway, how's everybody doing? I had something a little different planned for tonight, but Mercury is playing with me. What a shocker. Hello, Kelsey. Mercury retrograde, the pre-Mercury retrograde, the part before Mercury actually goes retrograde, always hits me the hardest. And I don't know if it's because I'm double ruled by Mercury. I don't know. It's crazy for me. So when Mercury actually goes retrograde, I'm usually good after that. It's crazy. Just me being me, but nope. Oh, what did I say? I'm sure I said something crazy. Seriously, I thought that my phone was turned off. Okay. But I had all of this stuff and something has happened and I cannot pull a PDF up on my computer anymore. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I have accidentally disabled or done something to, but I cannot pull the PDFs up on my computer. And I was like, well, that's definitely going to make it challenging for me because I created something in Canva and it's a PDF. I shouldn't have saved it like that, but I did, and whatever. I got to tell you though, I use hey Carol, hey Lauren. I use a lot of stuff in Canva because Canva, I have a Canva account, but I was using a free version of something like Grammarly that I was putting in all my words and just having it sort of rewrite it and having it sort of put things together a little bit prettier than just my verbal word vomit, And so I use it in Canva now, exclusively. I type in everything I want to say. It's not Chat GPT, but it's sort of like Chat GPT, I guess. It's called magic writing. I don't know. I just know what I want to say, and that's where we are. But again, I'm going to tell you as much as I can. I'm trying to pull it up in Canva because I have everything saved of what I want to talk about. But I do want to get you guys, I want to try and encourage you guys to come watch me on YouTube instead of on Facebook, because I am going to slowly, we're going to wean us off of Facebook, okay? Because it's challenging to go back and forth, but I really I prefer streaming directly to YouTube. So we're gonna see about this. I can't get this. Okay, well, I do have some stuff. We'll just go through that. This is good. So I want to talk about Saturn and Neptune conjunct in Aries. Now, here's some stuff. All right, here's some facts. All right. So in astrology, Saturn and Neptune go, they are conjunct every 35 to 37 years. All right. Now, it's a little different because we have retrogrades, of course, and Saturn moves and changes signs every 2.5 years. All right. Roughly every 2.5 years. Of course, retrogrades can prolong that. Look at Mars in 2022. And even right up into the beginning of 2023, Mars was in Gemini for 8 months. Typically, Mars only stays inside one sign for 2 months. Mars was in Gemini for 8 months because of retrograde. So that's a very interesting little tidbit of information. So we will see like the times being off a bit. Okay. Seriously, why? Why does this keep doing this? And can I misspell Mercury? I mean, I have a cat named Mercury. I have like my planets. What's going on? So anyway, so Saturn and Neptune are in Aries at the same time and conjunct. This has not happened since, okay, well, it happened for a brief moment in 2025. But the last time that Saturn and Neptune were actually conjunct was in Capricorn, and it was in 1989. So it's been a minute, right? Now Saturn and Neptune are going to be conjunct in Aries. This is so interesting to me. And by the way, this is happening on the 20th of February. So let's just look at Saturn, Neptune, and Aries. All right. So Aries is the first of the zodiac signs. Aries is number 1. And if you know any Aries, you know what I'm talking about. Well, hello, Melissa. So if you know any Aries that are sun signs, moon, oh my gosh, Aries moons, are you kidding me? Every Aries moon that I know, I'm just like, ooh, that's a bite that stings. Because an Aries moon is not going to put up with a whole lot. An Aries moon is not going to put up with a whole lot. The day before your birthday. Love it. Is there anything, there's not anything specific happening on your birthday, Kelsey, but there's a lot of good stuff happening around it. You know, and it does not surprise me that you get along with an Aries, Kelsey. It does not. So, Lauren, you are beautiful. You are. So, on February 20th, we have the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries. Aries is the first of the zodiac signs. Aries is a real go-getter. Aries is definitely like, if they can't be the lead dog, they don't want to run the race. They don't want to be in it. They want to be action. And speaking of which, this is a 1 year in numerology. I have probably mentioned that 1,000 times already, and we're just in January. But in a 1 year, we've got all this stuff happening at the beginning of this 1 year in Aries. This is a very, the one energy, the one vibration is very much a go-getter energy. It is very much a leader. It's a trailblazer. And so is Aries. Aries is all action. It's initiation, just like the one vibration. So, oh my gosh, another Pisces in the chat. Seriously. Okay, Kelsey's birthday is the day after yours, Melissa. Yeah. So, this is this is a very powerful energy. And again, if you know an Aries, you know this is a powerful energy. So this is a very courageous energy. It, again, it's a trailblazer, it's a leader, it is gung-ho. Then we get to Saturn. Saturn is Saturn is our high school principal. Saturn is our discipline. Saturn is our structure. Saturn rules Capricorn. That's my ascendant. I'm telling you, if I didn't have a Gemini moon, I would be no fun at all. So, Saturn rules Capricorn. It is structure, it's discipline, it's being grounded. It's definitely a reality-based planet. Wherever your Saturn is, it's very telling in your chart. So when I do somebody's chart, and there's a few of you in the chat that I have done your charts before, when I do somebody's chart, I look for several things, just hitting the highlights. Right off the bat, I want to know sun, moon, and rising, of course, but I want to know where their Mercury and their Saturn is. That's the second tier. That's what how I like to say. Then I look for North Node and Midhaven, like in that order. And then I start like filling in the rest of the puzzle, so to speak. So I always look for somebody's Saturn because I want to see like how this person handles discipline. How structured are they? Like where are they at? So that's kind of where I want to how I like to assess things. And in one of the astrology classes I took, that was actually encouraged to like sit back and go, where's their Saturn? What is this? That's not the first thing I look at, but it is definitely second tier. Okay, so then we have Saturn, our discipline, our high school principal, and then we have the art teacher. And I love the art teacher. But we have Neptune moving into Aries. Now, Neptune is very dreamy. Neptune rules Pisces. Neptune is all about imagination. It's like what's happening outside of the box. Let's explore things. It doesn't have to be like grounded in reality. Everything is just like very illusional. Illusional? It's not delusional, but it's like an illusion. It's dreamy. It's a dreamy sort of, I mean, that's Saturn. That's the energy of Saturn. It is definitely very spiritual. It's, opening everyone up to spirituality. And that's why we've seen a huge rise in especially like metaphysical practices or spirituality in general in the last 14 years. And I mean, we've all seen it, and it's all over everything now. Everyone is a card reader. And I think that everyone is and can be very intuitive. It's just that I think some of us are more intuitive about maybe medicine, like a nurse or a doctor. And I think some people are more intuitive about like cars, being mechanics. I mean, there's a lot of intuition that we can use here, all right? A lot of different ways to use our intuition. It doesn't all have to be just with cards. And I'm saying this as a reader myself. I mean, what are you going to do? So, anyway, back to Neptune and Saturn. So, Neptune is very idealistic. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's very idealistic. Saturn and Scorpio. Oh my gosh, that's so precious. Okay, so when we put the two together, when we put Saturn and Neptune together in any way, shape, or form, and for the past couple of years, Saturn and Neptune have been together in Pisces. I don't think that Pisces is the worst place for Saturn, but it probably wasn't the easiest for our planet of discipline. I mean, just a guess, just a guess. But putting Saturn and Neptune together, where they're trying to marry like reality and illusion. I mean, so what we're looking for here, and this is what I had written down, is what you would like, how you would like for things to be, and how things really are. So, there could be some gray areas in there. Like, I would like for my home to look like a palace. Right now, I mean, I've seen my kids' rooms. I can't imagine anyone thinking it's a palace except for me. So what I would like for my house to be, and the reality of it, there is a gray area. There's probably a lot of people that would be very grateful for just a messy home. Or, I mean, 2 kids, we can talk about that later. I can throw them in with the house if you'd like. I started a weight loss journey back in on my birthday. Oh, Lauren, that's wonderful. Oh, that's fantastic. Lauren is on Facebook, those of you that are on YouTube, and she says she has lost 42 pounds. I receive that. I wish I could lose that. Yeah. So, so now we're putting the Saturn-Neptune duo. We're putting them in Aries. We're putting them in this independent, like free thinking. I don't even want to say that Aries is a free thinker. Aries is like a rule breaker, but a calculated rule breaker. So Saturn is really good in Aries. But this is trying to like get your dreams aligned with some sort of structure. That's a good way to put it. So Aries is going to be like cracking the whip, going, the two of you are going to have to get along here. The two of you are now conjunct. You're in my house. You need to get along. And what we want to see you do is put some action behind your dreams, put some action behind like whatever this is that you're fantasizing about, this fantasy. And we want to see some structure here so that it can actually work. So this is why so many astrologers are out there right now saying this is a once in a lifetime chance. And it is a once in a lifetime chance, because I've told you guys before that Neptune moves pretty slowly, 14 years in each sign, right? So the last time Neptune was in Aries was in like the 1860s. It was during the American Civil War. So that's been a minute, right? It's been 164 years. So we have the last conjunction of Saturn and Neptune was in 1989. Now we have these two conjunct in Aries. So I looked it up. You're going to be so happy. I looked it up and I could not find anywhere where there was any documentation of the last time Neptune and Saturn were conjunct in Aries. The closest thing I found was in the 1300s. So it's pretty ancient, all right? It's been a long time. It's been a really long time since they were both in Aries and conjunct there. Because again, see, they only go conjunct, Saturn and Neptune are only conjunct every 35 to 37 years. So on average, 35 years, well, that's a couple of generations, right? So you have to think this is a huge and significant thing. This is a monstrously big conjunction, right? So there's no modern times when Saturn and Neptune were in Aries at the same time and conjunct. Very, very interesting. I do love that. So, you know, I love digging through shit like this. It just makes me so happy. um okay, let me go back up. So, for us currently, for all of us, for the collective, we're looking at a shift in our direction right now, a shift in our lives, a huge shift. I think this is so great because I just honestly, I love to see it. I love to see like massive shifts. And I've told you guys this before that I like looking up and seeing, like, historically speaking, what was going on when these planets were in certain signs. I said the last time Neptune was in Aries was during the American Civil War during the 1860s. The last time, and I've mentioned this several times, the last Pluto was transitioning from Capricorn and into Aquarius and stationed directly in Aquarius was in the late 1700s, during and after the American Revolutionary War and the French Revolutionary War. So it's kind of a big deal. Hello, Suzanne. How are you? So this is huge, huge. That's funny, Kelsey, because yeah, Neptune was in Capricorn in the 80s. Very interesting. Saturn and Scorpio. I think Saturn likes being in Scorpio. I mean, Scorpio is very secretive, so seems like Saturn would like that. Just one woman's opinion here. Just one woman's opinion. So, what we can see here is, again, that we are all embarking on this life shift. We're all embarking on a shift of some kind, like a huge one. And then, I do love this. So we can really, this is an opportunity for us to put our dreams into action and really create a solid foundation of what we want to see, what we want to build. Whether it's a hobby that we want to turn into a job, whether, you know, it's something that we're chasing that other people are just like, I don't even know why you're doing that. Well, girl, I mean, I didn't think AI was going to be possible, but here I am. Like, well, I guess that's a thing on Canva. It's sort of AI. I don't know. Anyway, I feel like there's a lot of things happening right now that are, it's just so much. There's so much change going on. And the fact that Uranus went direct today in Taurus and is getting ready to move into Gemini. When Uranus is in Gemini, things get discovered. There's a lot of discoveries made. The last time Uranus was in Gemini was during World War II. So again, a lot of discoveries were made. Things, you know, it was a different kind, it was definitely a different kind of war than we had ever had before. And there was a lot of people that were able to survive that had not been able to survive in previous wars because of inventions and because of discoveries that were made during that time, during that period of time. So this is a time of discovery. Again, with Uranus moving into Gemini just a little bit later this year. I looked it up. I think it's March. Pretty sure it's March. I'm getting ready to do all of March's astrology, but, you know, I wanted to finish this up first. So anyway, this is a wonderful time for us to really create some stability and some structure with our dreams and make them really happen. Make something really fantastic happen. What is going on with my phone? Okay, so the notes that I have is, here's the problem. And you know, there's always a shadow side. I mean, I talk about shadow sides with numerology all the time and everybody's life path numbers. So we have some issues, right? So some of the issues that are not heavy, these are just light issues, I would say, is just feeling that having a hard time separating fantasy and responsibility. where you're just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I really want this to happen, but like, I'm responsible for, my home and my kids and my dogs and the cats and, you know, but we can't live off a fantasy, right? We have to be grounded at some point. So there is going to be that stretch where you're just like, these are things that I really want, but I also, I have to be responsible. I have to pay the bills. I have to take care of like me, my family, my animals, whatever, my home. Yeah. The 80s were some of the best years of my life. Um, Yeah, the 80s were pretty good. I graduated high school. Well, I graduated high school at the beginning of the 90s. I graduated high school in 1990, so I enjoyed the 80s very much. Um oh, and when we add in Aries to this mix of Saturn and Neptune, what we get is more about us. What we get is more about our individual selves, our personal identity, where we're just like not wanting to identify as like, um, I don't know, a part of a group. We're not wanting to identify as a part of like a unit. We're wanting to be an individual. We're wanting to identify as an individual. So we're really working hard to make our individual dreams or fantasies come into reality. Make that come into a place of like something that is real and it's not just living in our heads anymore. So that's a thing. Now, um, when we that does require, when we're in Aries, this is going to require like courage, but Aries is giving you plenty. And the one vibration that we're in all year in numerology is also giving you plenty of courage, because both of those are very courageous. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I was like, just wanted to make sure I wasn't I don't remember much of the 80s. Hello, Kelsey. That is hilarious. You were born in the 80s, girl. um, okay, not knowing not knowing when to commit. Now, here's the problem with Neptune. It's difficult to nail down. It's difficult to like commit and say, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. But when it's real, when it's something tangible, we need to be able to commit ourselves. But again, that's where Saturn comes into play here. That's where Saturn is helping us to put that into play and saying, okay, I can make this happen, but you have to commit. Okay, so what we need to watch out for in the more deeper side of the shadows is really focusing more on fantasy instead of reality. Don't build your structure on fantasy. Build it on the reality of your fantasy. Does that make sense? So what we want to do is we really want to say, hey, I don't know, I want to write a book. Okay, great. So now, instead of just fantasizing about being a best-selling author, being on the New York Times bestseller list, now we put it into action. Now you start writing this book, you get it all worked out, you have Grammarly or whatever is out there, like proofread it for you, like get all the structure, the word structure right, and maybe you do an ebook. Maybe you do an ebook on Amazon, or what is the app? Y'all know what I'm talking about. What is the app? Kindle. Kindle. I was like, I have the app because I read it. I read a lot of books. So maybe you sit back and you go, okay, I'm going to write a book and I'm going to do all of this stuff and I'm going to put it on Kindle. This is your structure, is saying, I'm going to write for an hour every day. I'm going to be like Mary Higgins Clark and hey, Gretchen. Because let me tell you the story about Mary Higgins Clark. Now, I told you guys on Saturday when I did the live that I had just read a statistic analogy that said that people learn more and they receive more when you tell them a story. So here's my story, okay? Mary Higgins Clark wanted to be a writer. I hope everybody knows who Mary Higgins Clark is. I mean, she was the queen of scream. She wrote some really fantastic, I mean, amazing, like, books. And I love rereading her books. I mean, there are certain authors that I will reread their entire collection, like, once a year. Like, I reread Jane Austen once a year. Jenna Ivanovich is like her Stephanie Plum series is now up into the 30s. So every 2 years, I will reread those. Yeah. But Mary Higgins Clark, girl, I mean, I can get those audiobooks, download the printed version, whatever. I am in. Like, I love Mary Higgins Clark. So anyway, when Mary Higgins Clark was a single mom back in, I want to say the 70s, maybe even the late 60s, she could not, she wanted to write. She wanted to write really bad, but she had a hard time like finding the time to do it because she worked all day, she took care of her kids. So what she committed to doing was she woke up an hour before her kids every day. And let me tell you something, that is not easy, all right? Because I try to wake up before my kids every day so that I can have some me time before, you know, thing one and thing two wake up, and that is not easy. But she committed to waking up an hour every day before her kids. And she sat at her kitchen table and she wrote for 1 hour. She wrote for 1 hour. And she wrote a book. And in those days, you had to send it to a literary agent, and the literary agent had to find a publishing house, which they were able to do. So Mary Higgins Clark, that's the name of her, Kelsey. And all I can say is Stranger Things made a poopy attempt at portraying the 80s. I was afraid to watch it because they filmed a lot of it here in Georgia at what is basically an empty mall now, because you know malls are sort of not the thing anymore. But yeah, I've seen some clips. I'm gonna have to agree with you, Angel. So Mary Higgins Clark wrote her first book by just having some structure, by just dedicating herself and saying, okay, I'm gonna do this. And that's all she did. One of my YouTube clients, the clients that I coach on YouTube, she has, her following is like over 40,000 now. And it's because she committed to doing it. I just told her, I said, just commit to 1 video a week at first. Well, she's doing zodiac readings, so she committed to doing 12. And she's still working her full-time job. Well, she's in her early 30s and she's not married, and so she's got some time. So she comes home from work, she hangs out with her dog for a while, and she makes 2 videos every day, every single day, and that's what she does. On Saturdays, if she hasn't gotten to some during the week, then she tries to get all the stuff done, but she committed to it. She's quit her job. She quit her full-time job, and that's all she does now. And it's impressive. It is, because I didn't do that. Of course, I don't want to do zodiac readings anymore. I just want to do numerology because that's my first love. But I think that this is something to be aware of. When we have Neptune and Saturn going conjunct into Aries, something that they have not done clearly, at least since the 1300s, this is a time of change. This is something we are not going to see again, and many generations after us are not going to see. So we have these two married together, moving into a sign of independence, a sign of moving forward, a trailblazing sign in a 1 year. This is the time for you to start working on your dreams. If there's something that you want to make happen, this is the time that you can put some structure to your dreams. This is the time that you can put some structure to your fantasies. Okay, I'm not talking about I'm not talking about all fantasies. I don't think Tom Selleck, Lenny Kravitz, or Jason Momoa are going to show up at my house and sweep me off my feet and knock Dr. Seuss out of the way. I don't think that's going to happen. So that's a different kind of fantasy. But I'm saying, like, your dreams, what you want to do. Do you want to do something great to, like, the house you live in? Do you want to create a new invention? Do you want to write a book? What do you want to do? Start thinking about that. You got a couple of more weeks because this doesn't happen until February 20th. But the important thing is that even after the conjunction, Saturn and Neptune are going to both still be in Aries for a while because Saturn isn't leaving Aries for another couple of years. Remember, it takes Saturn 2.5 years, 2 to 2.5 years to get through each sign, or through a sign, sorry. Okay, Kelsey, it's Mary Higgins Clark. She is a phenomenal writer. Well, she's no longer with us, but she's a phenomenal writer. So during this time, we can also, this is part of the shadow side, we can feel tired. We can feel like there's too much information coming in. That happens with the 22-4 energy. Yeah. You start to feel like, oh my gosh, I can't make a decision. And this is something that we also talked about on Saturday, is having that decision paralysis. So be careful of that. Now, the reason why I wanted to loop Mercury into this, because I got to make it all about me. Double rule by Mercury. Love that. So Mercury is moving into Pisces on the 6th. Mercury does not like being in Pisces. This is Mercury's least favorite place to be. Like, Mercury is okay with being in Sagittarius. It's all right. But Mercury does not like being in Pisces. So, because Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini, which are the opposing signs to Pisces and Sagittarius. But Mercury is moving into Pisces. He ain't happy. So, right off the bat, he's not happy. But on the 26th, Mercury goes retrograde into Pisces. And that means he's going to be in Pisces for a little bit longer than he planned. Okay? Now, the thing about Mercury going retrograde is that this happens so many times a year. It's worth talking about, but it's not worth talking about. I mean, I talk about it all the time, but you can't stop your life when Mercury goes retrograde. You can't. Nobody can. Sometimes you have to buy a car. I've had to do that. Sometimes you have to sign papers. Sometimes you have to go on a trip. And you can't stop your life because of Mercury retrograde. What you can do is double check your damn paperwork. What you can do is put a little statue. I don't have a small statue because he's in a bag. But what you can do is put a little statue of Ganesh in your bags if you're traveling. Or even print a picture off of your computer and put it in your bag of Ganesh. Put it in your bag and travel that way. Because Ganesh is a protector. He removes chaos. It's a whole thing. And that's why you see me have Ganesh all over the place. I've got a Ganesh on my, one of my altars back here. I've got Ganeshas like all over my house, especially where electronics are concerned. Are you kidding me? If I could put Ganesh inside my computer during Mercury retrograde, I would be a happy girl. Because as I said, Mercury hasn't even gone retrograde yet. And already I can't get the PDFs to open up in my computer. Why? Why is this happening? This is not a good time for me. I digress. So, when Mercury goes retrograde, we need to not just double and triple check. We need to quadruple check anything that we're signing. We need to quadruple check the car that we're buying, the house that we're buying, the papers that we're signing, the travel documents. Check your bags, all of that. You need to just double check and reassess. All right. Now, I say this because this time when Mercury goes retrograde, no other planets are retrograde at this time. It's only Mercury. So we don't have a lot of that other stuff to deal with, which is fantastic. I mean, I'm just saying. So we've got all this fantastic stuff. Should we say fantastic? Yeah, I think we should say fantastic because this is a once in a lifetime thing. It's a once in many centuries thing that we have with Saturn and Neptune in Aries and conjunct. Very interesting. So Mercury is going to go retrograde on the 26th, and it is going to be the only planet that is retrograde, which again, I think is beautiful because we don't have to complicate matters with our planet of communication. Yeah. What I want to say is you will often see people say, exes always return during Mercury retrograde, and I could not agree more. The best example I can give you is Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. How'd that work out? Yeah. They got back together during a Mercury retrograde, and then they got married. That was fun. It was fun for all of us, right? I don't know about them. But I believe they're both Leos. I know she's a Leo. She's on the cusp of being a Virgo, so, I'd like to claim her, but I can't. But can claim Beyonce. Gotta love some Virgos here. So, we need to understand that exes will return during Mercury retrograde. Is it just ex relationships? No, it can be former friends, it can be former jobs calling to say, hey, you still looking for a job? You still looking for, no, I'm good, thanks. Yeah. So when we're in Mercury retrograde and you are in some sort of relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship or like your work or whatever, you need to be aware of red flags because at this time, you need to walk away from the first time that you see a red flag. This is not the time to say, I'm going to hang out and see if they get better. I'm going to hang out and see if they just need to be healed. I'm going to hang out and see if they need to be saved. Let me know how that works out for you if you choose to do that. My advice, and you do not have to take it, is walk away at the very first arrival of a red flag. Yes, that is my advice. When Mercury is retrograde, it is the best time for us to repair so that we don't have to repeat. Now, I say this with kindness. You either repair something or you repeat it. You will repeat it over and over and it won't get any better. This is again with relationships, with jobs, with purchases, what have you. Repair so you don't have to repeat. This is definitely, and you can watch some of my old videos when I'm talking about when a bunch of planets are in retrograde. When a bunch of planets are in retrograde at the same time, I say that it's all about it's all about redo, review, reflect, reorganize, revise, repair. It's all about the re's, like reassess, relearn, rethink. You can't enough when we have a whole bunch of planets in retrograde. But since Mercury is the only planet in retrograde at this time, and we have this wonderful Saturn Neptune pairing in Aries, I think this is definitely a time for you to review. It's time for you to reassess. It's time for you to revise. And it's time for you to really look at your dreams, what you want to accomplish, and like repair some of the things that you've done wrong so that you can move forward. I am telling you, I think I have cat hair stuck in my makeup and it's making me itch. I know. I'm just getting over an ear infection. I'm not getting a cold. So I'm just putting that out there in the universe, along with taking vitamin C and vitamin B. Well, hello, Mel Bailey. It's okay, girl. You know the party doesn't get started until the full Nebraska contingent is here. Seriously, I'm so funny. I mean, anyway, I don't know, don't you love somebody that has to tell you they're funny? I mean, I should have a laugh track. Like one of these buttons on my little stream deck should have a laugh track. That would be awesome. Okay, so anyway, back to Mercury. So while we have Mercury retrograde during like this Neptune, Saturn, in Aries conjunction, it is definitely a time to review, reassess, revise, and repair anything that you are trying to build. Anything that you've already started to build, and maybe you need to fix it before you like do the hard launch. That's what people are saying, right? The Gen Z people are just saying it's a hard launch. I think I'm saying that right. Oh my gosh, I'm so old. So, but the thing is, this is a fantastic time for you to do that. I think that March can be a fantastic month. This is like leading us into a wonderful opportunity here to really grow what we dream about. If you want to have a garden, if you want to, I don't know, build a deck, whatever it is that you want to do, write a book, run for Congress, please run for Congress. Please. I mean, please run for Congress. I don't want to. I would not make a good politician. But, you know, some of you out there might want to do that. You know, I'm just saying. Especially all these millennials and Gen Zs, y'all should do that. In theory. This is a wonderful time to do that. We are moving into the year of the horse on February 17th. And I really look at March as the new year. I really do. In March, we also have the spring equinox. And I think that this is truly the beginning of this really, really strong energy. With the year of the horse, we're in the 1 year. We have Neptune and Saturn in Aries. Mercury goes direct in March. And on March 20th, I believe, let's consult, because I was writing up March's stuff today. March 20th, yes. Mercury goes direct on March 20th. So, from February 26th until March 20th, Mercury will be retrograde. Isn't that precious? We just love that. But on March 20th, it's also spring equinox, and the sun is moving into Aries. So you know what that means. We're looking at some cazinis with the sun in Aries. With Neptune, with Aries, with Neptune and with Saturn. So I'm kind of excited about this. Because the cazinis with the sun, remember, that makes that planet so much more powerful when it has a conjunction with the sun. I just think that this is a wonderful time. So, Let's declutter ourselves during this Mercury retrograde. Let's get to a place where we can really start building what we want, especially in this 1 year, year of the horse. There's a lot of energy in this year. There's a lot of energy in this year. And I really like what it looks like, and launch what it is that you want to do. I just want to make sure that I think I've covered everything. Okay. I do. Oh, that was what I put down. God, sometimes I just amaze myself. I mean, I'm a Virgo. I have to say that to myself in the mirror sometimes. But I have written on my Mercury notes that this is the time to refine your dreams. This is a time to refine the plans that you have for your dreams. So during this Mercury retrograde, this is the time to refine the things, the ideas that you've had and what you've been trying to plan for, to say, I want to get this started. And then you'll be ready to pull the trigger in March. I do really love that the conjunction of Saturn and Neptune is at least just a few days before Mercury goes completely retrograde. We're going to be in the shadow period of it, but that's okay. That's okay. We can still launch some stuff. So I like that. I like that. Okay. I said a lot. I had a lot to say. Tell me if you guys have any questions. If there's something you're interested in. I love like this topic. I love going through history and looking at things historically and just being like, okay, what was happening the last time this planet was here? What was happening the last time these two planets were, conjunct? And I like looking at, because I think I did a whole episode one time on Saturn conjunct North Node and Saturn conjunct South Node, which for me, every time that happens, every time Saturn is conjunct my North Node, every time Saturn is conjunct North Node, I move. Yeah. And every time Saturn is conjunct South Node, I seem to have some sort of breakup. So that was one. I can't remember. Gretchen was here for that one. I don't know if you remember when that was, Gretchen. I'll have to look back. It's in my lives somewhere. Because it was definitely a live show that I did. But I like looking at, historically speaking, like what was this like? What was happening? Because it does take Saturn about 28 to 32 years to move through all the signs. That's why, like, most of the time when I look at people's Saturn returns, their first Saturn returns, it can really take place at 28, but it can also take place as late as 32. On average, it's about 30. It's about 30 years. Let me just, again, consult my notes. Yes, it takes Saturn 29 to 30 years to go through all the signs. And it's retrograde for about 4 months out of the year. Thank you, Gretchen. I just love looking at historically, like, what was going on the last time, some of the slower moving planets, where we were at, like, collectively, and like, sometimes, I know I keep saying I'm old, but sometimes I wasn't alive when those things happened, because I wasn't alive during World War II, so I wasn't here on planet the last time that Uranus was in Gemini. But I have a whole plan to do the Uranus and Gemini thing too, because I do think that that's really important. And just looking back at like the times that Uranus has been in Gemini, again, historically, and just saying, okay, you know, because some of these planets weren't discovered, obviously, until later. And I think Uranus was one of the planets that wasn't discovered until like, I have it on my notes. I started like whole documents about this. But I think Uranus was discovered in the late 1800s or the very early 1900s, but you can still look back and see where they were, you know, historically speaking, because it's the same with Pluto. Pluto wasn't discovered until well after the American Revolutionary War. So, yeah. But you know where he was because you can sort of block it, you know, time it out. Um, I I do really like looking at this stuff. So we can do a deep dive into Uranus and Gemini because I feel like Uranus and Gemini also happened, and I could be mistaken, but I believe it was also during the American Civil War. It was during World War II, but I think it was also either at the beginning or the end of the Civil War. I'll have to look for that. 1781 for Uranus. That's when it was discovered? Wow. Okay, I was wrong. But it's a great way for me to tie in history and astrology because, you know, I love them both. And I know you guys don't come here to, you know, want to hear me talk about Henry VIII and his insanity, but, you know, that's one woman's opinion. All right. I think I covered everything on my notes. If I didn't, then you guys will get a bonus again this week, which I'm actually thinking about doing because I had a good time with y'all on Saturday. It was fun. So I'm thinking about doing another bonus because we haven't had date night. Me and Dr. Seuss haven't had date night in a minute, so maybe I'll do another bonus. Had to Google it. Oh, Sir William Herschel. Hey, hi Brown Herbalist. Hi, how are you? But I do love this stuff. So I hope that you guys love it too. We'll see. We will see. Get yourself ready, get yourself geared up so you can make a plan and implement it when all of this is happening, okay? This is a fantastic year for making your dreams into a reality, for giving your fantasies some structure, a good foundation, and moving ahead with it in a responsible way. Saturn is very responsible. Neptune is very dreamy. Aries is a trailblazer. The one vibration is a leader and a trailblazer. All of these things coming together is really wonderful. It's a wonderful opportunity. So, get yourself together, get a plan together, and you can work on revising it and editing it when Mercury's in retrograde. Yay! All right, you guys. Well, if you guys don't have any questions, I'm like my fingers almost healed. I can almost get a ring over it. Very excited. I was able to get nails on. Would you look at that? I mean, that's amazing right there. I know my fingernails weren't so sore, so I was actually able to get fingernails on. And I can almost get a ring on my finger. I know. It's fantastic. Be like Beyonce, another great Virgo. Like, you know, if you like it, you should have put a ring on it. My husband retires in March. Oh, Lauren, this is a great new beginning for him. Lauren, this is a fantastic opportunity for him to like really create maybe a hobby. My mom did that. She went with her hobbies and now like that's what she does full time when she retired. I mean, she was a nurse for a million years and now she's creating wonderful crafts. And like my son, she did that for me. Love it. Yes. Small wins. Yes. Small wins. All right, you guys, I have had a great time tonight. This is a subject that I love. I get a little excited about it and then I stumble over my words, which is why I have my notes, which I couldn't pull up on the PDF. I mean, I guess that should also teach me that I shouldn't save them as a PDF. I don't really know why I did that. But like I said, I created it in Canva and I downloaded it as a PDF. I don't know why. But I have got to figure out how come my computer won't open up PDFs. I mean, I'm just like, all right. It just stopped opening them up. And I don't know what I did to it. It's fantastic, I tell you. So I'm sure it'll work itself out, right? Right? All right. We're going to probably continue with a little astrology for the next couple of weeks. If there is something specific that you guys would like for me to talk about or address, if there's things that you have questions about, please email me or drop a comment below. Like, you don't have to comment below, but if you want to email me, you absolutely can, and I will try to get the email address pulled up. There you go. So you can email me at this email address if you don't want to comment below, because I do have people that don't want to comment on the page. I get it, and they email me. That's fine. So you may need to sign out and back in, or there's an update that needs to be done. Yeah. What is it about the updates? It just takes forever. It's just me being lazy. But I'll work on that. I'll turn it off and turn it back on as soon as we say goodbye. But yeah, just email me at this email address if there is something that you want me to talk about that I haven't yet covered. I know I talk about a lot of stuff, but I love talking about astrology. I love talking about numerology. But there's a lot of other stuff I like talking about too. So just hit me up and let me know. Or if you come across a subject that you're just like, what's this all about? I'm game. I'll look it up. This is so much fun. I love astrology. All right, you guys. Did you talk about the AI? Oh my gosh. So I told you guys I asked this lady that I know, she does readings, and she won't read for herself. I mean, not many people that are readers will read for themselves, but she said what she would do is she would pull cards and then she would tell ChatGPT the cards that she pulled and have ChatGPT give her the answer, so that she wasn't like, pulling out information that she just wanted to hear from the cards. And I was like, okay, that's something I can get down with. But that little girl, I think she's turning 24 this year. When she told me that my job was going to be obsolete because ChatGPT was doing her card readings for her. And I was like, oh, okay. Girl, she doesn't even own a deck of cards, Mel. I found out because she still texts me I'm like, okay, you said you didn't want to talk to me anymore. She still texts me, but she said she doesn't even own a deck of cards. She's just putting into Chat GPT, this is her issue. Could it give her a tarot card reading? And I guess it does it. I don't know. But my friend, the lady that I talked to, she said she pulls the cards and she has Chat GPT interpret it for her because she doesn't want to read into the meaning. And that's my problem, because I'm obviously very attached to my own problems. And so I don't read for myself, because otherwise every card I pull would be like, "Oh yeah, you should absolutely do that. I know that this is a negative card, but there's a reason why it's negative. You should absolutely do that." That's the kind of thing that goes on in my head, okay? So it's just really it's just really funny. And so I did like her interpretation of that. Like that's how she does Chat GPT. But I was just cracking up. I was like, "Oh my gosh." So I don't know. I got to get on Chat GPT. I got to check this shit out. I mean, really. But I was like, yeah, I'm curious. I'm nosy. I'm gonna look and just see. But I don't know. I mean, I go to other people when I need a card reading. I go to other people. So, that's where we are. It's very interesting. Chat GPT. I love it. I mean, if you can get your astrology readings and your card readings through Chat GPT, gun it up. I mean, I don't know. How much does it cost? Is it like $5 or $10 a month or something? I don't know. But anyway, I am gonna open up an account. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna be like, let me see. Let me see. Maybe it can tell me some new stuff about numerology. Oh, oh, like that. All right, you guys. I hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful night. And thank y'all so much for being here. It is always such an awesome crowd. And until we see each other again, y'all, get out there and make your magic. Bye.